Bachelorette Fantasy Suites Part 2 was last night, and we are here to break down all of the tiers and all of the mess. So, welcome back to our channel. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. We also have our live chat going on, so we will be reading your comments all throughout the live as it's just me and Kayla today. So, any hot topics or opinions you guys want us to talk about or have, leave them in the live chat and we'll be able to put those on the screen. I'm Zachary Reality with Kayla Thompson. Kayla, last night was a lot. It was dramatic, it was
Last night,
emotional.
uh,
Like, how
yeah.
are you doing? Like, how is your mental state?
I mean, I'm recovering from 4 hours of
Okay,
this week. I'm okay.
that's
I've
a
drunk
lot.
water, I've got sleep, I've eaten, I've processed. But yeah, there's so
Oh,
much to
okay,
unpack even
good.
from just last night. Yeah. Yeah. So,
I'm glad that you're eating and that you're sleeping because it doesn't look like everyone on this season is, because it's the tensions are just so high, and like I don't even know what's going on wherever, like why is it so difficult, like especially with Gabby and Eric, like why does it have to be
mm,
so hard? Like he's literally the
I
last guy
don't know.
left. She's like says she loves him. Like there's so much drama. We're really gonna unpack it all. But I kind of want to start off with the Jason of it all because this was truly shocking. Now, Kayla, you told me he was like one of your favorites since the beginning. Please tell me what you've loved about him all season.
I mean, okay, so from their first one-on-one date, I really loved how like vulnerable he was with her at dinner, and like I liked that side of him of just being like, open and honest about his journey with mental health. And obviously, as we all know now, it was hard for him to be on this show, but he like really pushed through because of how he felt for Gabby. And I just felt like their first date was just so strong. They both, I think, felt, a real spark. So I was really rooting for him. I didn't see Eric coming really. And so from Paris, I really was like, oh, it's Jason A. Like, it's Jason A. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was wrong.
It wasn't Jason A. It was never going to be
Was
Jason
not.
A. I really liked him too throughout the season. I mean, I think as the season went on, I started to think he was just more mediocre because he really was just like, falling into the background and not doing much. And I think we really got to know him last night and his personality. And honestly, Kayla,
Hmm.
like I was not impressed. Like I just feel like he's the type of guy that is so passive, cannot speak up for what he wants. He doesn't take charge in his
Mm,
life. He just
hmm.
seems like he's such a passive guy with no energy
Yeah.
or aggression or emotion. And I needed more from him, and we weren't getting it. And it was
Hmm.
really frustrating
Yeah.
to watch Gabby ask for like anything and he couldn't give it
Yeah.
to her. I mean, they started the day off playing tennis and swimming in the pool, right? It all went well.
Hmm.
She was saying how
Yeah.
comfortable he was making her feel, but the night portion, everything changed when Jason had to pull back, and he says that he is not ready and he's also not comfortable talking about his feelings on camera. All of the sudden, what was your thoughts on that? Who signed him up for this show?
It seemed like he signed himself up. I don't know. That's what he said to his mom. He's like, "Oh, what if I really find my wife?" And I'm like, "Well, where was all of that? Like, what just happened?" I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think that, speaking of Jason's mom, I think she really clocked it on that hometown date with telling him, "Now listen, do not let these outside factors affect this relationship that you're building with her. Like, is it
Mm-hmm.
this? Is it her, or is it the process?" He's like, "No, it's not her." And I'm like, I think he really did let the outside factors affect him questioning, is it real? Is it not? Like, now he doesn't even know if he like really feels strong for her or not. And it's like, I think he overthought it.
Didn't
I think
he
he
call
just,
her
yeah.
didn't he call her a stranger, or that he didn't know her? Was that him?
He didn't call her a stranger, but he did say, we don't fully know each other. Yeah. Which I think is fair.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think a lot of where Jason was coming from was fair, but I think, I don't know. I think his reservations, him being reserved as a person, definitely came out in this passive. I don't really want to say anything yet. I want to kind of explore it first, then maybe I'll really know if I can see that with her or not. And I think it all kind of got just really messy and then led to Gabby feeling led on, which I think was fair for her to feel that way. So, yeah, it was
I mean, he
unfortunate
should have
to
said
see,
something sooner. Like, he went
for
to
sure.
hometowns, he accepted a rose, he went to fantasy suites. now he's the final two and he's not even aware that Johnny left, and all of a sudden he's not ready for an engagement. He doesn't want to share anything on camera. This is what you signed up to do. Like, he should have left the
Yeah.
process earlier or expressed concerns earlier or literally just done anything. Like, I appreciate that he
Mhm.
was at least being honest, but then like he also wasn't honest with us. Like, it's, I know that like they're on the show, but it's like you have to think of the audience. Like, we're investing in you all
Yeah.
season. This is a conversation we need to see on camera. Like, you were getting
No,
your
it's true.
fantasy suite anyway. So I don't think he necessarily
Yeah.
like needed to say, "Oh, I don't want to talk about this on camera." Like, within 2 hours, you're not going to be on camera. Like, just be patient.
Yeah, it's
So they
true.
end up
It's
going in the
true.
fantasy suite and they wake up, and obviously they break up in the fantasy suite, and then they have to kind of film a goodbye scene for us, the audience.
Mhm.
How do you think that went? The goodbye scene. Like, are you mad at Jason? Do you like Jason? Like, where are your thoughts on everything?
I mean, I think overall, I thought Jason was gonna be more mature. Like, I don't know if I would say it was immature. I think I was wrong about how potentially he would handle something like this. I think again, his reservation or him being more quiet or him being more pulled back turned into this passivity, and kind of just being, I don't know, y'all. He was just kind of being a punk about it. Like, I just felt like
Yeah,
Gabby was
a
leading
wimp.
that conversation a little bit. Like, I feel like Gabby was leading that conversation of this breakup, on the morning after, and it just was like unfortunate. And he just was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry that it came off that way," and I'm just like, dude, like,
He couldn't
I don't know.
fight for
I just
her. He
expected
couldn't
more
fight
from
for
him.
anything. For
He
sure. I
never
mean,
fought for
he literally made
anything,
it
and
this
yeah,
far. You
yeah,
introduced her to the family. You said you loved her, and like you couldn't even like bat an eyelash. Like, like that
yeah.
she was, that you guys were breaking up. Like, Gabby was devastated. She was heartbroken. She was crying, and I think we can agree that she probably was going to choose Eric over him anyway. But I think she's just frustrated how it
Hmm.
ended because he just didn't give enough. I'm sure we'll see him
Yeah.
after the final rose. I'm expecting him to
Hmm.
man up and say something with some
Yes.
substance. Like, people like Eric, people like Jason drive me crazy in the real world because you just can't
Mm.
have a conversation because they're such people pleasers. And I think Jason's
Mhm.
only concern was like, making Gabby happy, making the audience happy, the producers happy, and he just like he needs to just be himself and say how he feels. And I feel like he wasn't
Yeah.
able to like do that with any confidence. And it really just showed that he has a
Mm.
lot of insecurities. And I don't know if it's really just the cameras that overwhelmed him that much, but I think that as a person, he just seems really passive, which was frustrating to watch. What do you think he's going to
Yeah.
say to Gabby next week on After the Final Rose?
I don't know. I think he probably will just say more of the same things and maybe explain himself further about, because I think here's also my other thought, Zach. I think on the other end of it, I have heard other alum who've gotten to this point, on their season where they were like, yeah, now I don't know if I can get engaged, and it's like their excuse was kind of like, producers will tell you, like, just keep going next week, like the next week, like, just stay, like, your feelings will grow, your feelings will get there. Trust me, this process works
Mm-hmm.
so fast, like, just trust it. And so they don't say anything, and then now it's too late, and now they look like the bad guy. And so, with that being said, I think
Okay.
Jason will probably just more explain like why he didn't say anything sooner. And I think a part of it is he genuinely was trying to also use the fantasy suite to decide like if it really was real for him or not, which I think that's a part of what
Mm-hmm.
fantasy suites are for. I'm not going to lie. I think that's what they're
Yeah.
for, to like, yeah, set the cameras aside, set the mics aside. And so I agree with you. Like, he was going to he didn't have to like make it a whole thing at dinner cuz he was going to do that probably anyway, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
to answer your question, I think it probably will be more of that, like just hearing more of his side, because I think the issue with Jason, I think really is that he's I think he second guesses himself when he's speaking and like trying to explain himself. And I think like I've been there before. And so I think just processing all of it coming outside of filming, he'll have more of like a, okay, this is what it was. I'm sorry, hopefully. But yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad that we have a Jason apologist here. I mean, he frustrated me last night, but I'm glad you're able to show the other side. So I'm looking forward to hearing what he's gonna say. Now, Kat
Me too.
Traviano Trevino says, "I don't understand why this reason, why none of Gabby's guys were ready for an engagement." Yeah, Gabby
Mm,
deserves better than her final two of her final three guys saying that. that they were not ready all the way at the end. And I thought Eric was ready. So let's talk about Eric, because they obviously
Yeah.
had that conversation late at night that they had to talk things out, and kind of, she was frustrated that he needed more reassurance. They already had the conversation, but he's freaking out. Little does he know that these guys are not even competition. She goes to Eric's room and tells Eric that she loves him and that he's the last guy here. We got to talk about the trailer, but like, what did you think of that moment? Do you think
I
she was
know.
always feeling that with Eric? I mean, it was so cute. It was like love is
Mhm.
love.
It was so sweet. Like me and my mom and my god sister were watching. We're like, "Yay!" Like clapping. We're like, "Okay, this is good." Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, to answer your question, I think that, like I was saying yesterday in our live, I think it was interesting. I think I said it yesterday. I think it was an interesting thing to watch Gabby kind of like recognize feelings for Eric. Like, oh, I think I do love him, but am I sure? I don't think I'm sure yet. Like, I still want to explore with Johnny, with Jason, because I do feel very strongly in X, Y, and Z. So I think like she potentially was always feeling that, yes, but was she sure? No, she wasn't sure yet. And I think like, you know, the happenings of the week just kind of like just I don't know, made the decision for her almost, but it's almost like yeah, it was meant to be in a sense
Yeah.
that they would be at the
Well,
end
well, I
together. Yeah.
yeah, I think like I wanted Gabby to like choose Eric, but it also, probably
Mm,
came off to some viewers that it was process of elimination, but I really think she was going to choose Eric anyway. We're going to talk about the
yeah.
trailer. We actually have some clips that we'll get into once after we go through Rachel's guys, and we'll have to kind of decide, do we really think Eric's going to propose, because it looks like he's going to pull a fast one on her, which is not really the vibe. Why don't you read Elizabeth's comment?
Sure. So Elizabeth says the dumped season. These two girls just keep getting dumped. Bachelor production only quote hired them, both out of pity, and
Ah!
they're just embarrassing themselves much more. Oh my gosh, Elizabeth. Whoa, she's coming with the heat.
Tell us how you
Goodness.
feel, Elizabeth.
Tell us how you really feel, Liz. No, I don't know. I don't really agree. I think that production hired them because if they were to pick one of the two of them, it would just be insensitive to the other because they both went through that experience with
Yeah.
Clayton. So I think it was actually smart for them to choose both of them. And yeah, there's a piece of it where they're like, Gabby's gonna be one way, Rachel's gonna be kind of like bringing the more of the emotions, the tears, the drama, and they got to make a
Mm.
show. So of course that's a little bit of part of it. But did they know that they would be going to be getting dumped? No, they didn't know that for sure. I think that's
This
kind of
is the record,
naturally
though.
what happened.
This is the record
Hmm.
number of dumpings a lead ever. I mean, it probably factors in the fact that there was two, because some guys were like willing to shoot their shot on Gabby or Rachel. But this is crazy how many guys are just like breaking up
Yeah.
and leaving. I don't know. I mean, with Jason and Gabby, it kind of felt a little mutual. With Johnny and Gabby, it felt a little mutual too.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of breakups, and it looks like
Yeah.
Zach might be breaking up with Rachel too. This week was really intense for Rachel and Zach. They
Hmm.
had a great day. They had a great night in the fantasy suites, or I mean, they had a great day until the fantasy suites. That's when
Right.
everything changed. What did you think? Like, tell us what you thought about Zach's experience or what he said.
I think Zach is interesting because I think Zach kind of had this very dream state with Rachel. It was like, no one else could ever have what we have. And, we see that most every year where there's someone who's a little overconfident and not in like a arrogant way, just in like they're just so confident of they're going to be at the end with the lead. And it's like, Zach, no, honey. So with that being said, for him to go into the fantasy suite and be like, wait a minute, yeah, this is not the real authentic Rachel that I thought I'd be getting, I think really hurt even more because he thought it was so real, so legit. Like she feels the same that I do. And when she never let her guard down, like fully, and then kind of gave this BS thing of, oh, his age, like y'all are the same age. Y'all are both born in what,
It was like
96 or
two
something.
months.
Like Rachel was absolutely planting seeds for her breakup with Zach at the end of the rose ceremony. She was planting seeds of like, "Oh, this is how I'm gonna, remember when I said in the fancy suite the age thing? Yeah. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
To
I
answer
mean,
your question though,
I think
with
he's
yeah.
like, I think
Mm,
it's like her third date of the week. Like she's exhausted. She already told Avon she's falling in love with him. She told Tino she's in love with him. I feel like her mind has, or her heart has just progressed with those two relationships where she just can't give her all to Zach anymore, but yet she still has
mm,
to carry out the Bachelorette duties. And I think producers were really hoping for
yeah.
a rose ceremony, considering Gabby's rose
Yeah.
ceremony just wasn't going to happen, where they almost told Rachel, like, you don't
Mm,
have a choice. Like, you need to lead him on a little bit. And I think
mm,
she did lead him on in the fantasy suites. I think that
yeah.
he realized that her heart was with someone else. That's what his intuition was telling him. And I think she
Hmm.
led him on. But do you think it's fair to judge her for leading him on? She has the Bachelorette duties and roles,
Yeah.
but he has valid feelings and concerns.
Yeah, that's so funny, Zach, because I was gonna ask you this exact question you just asked me. It's like, you're the guru here, and like we both watched forever, but
Yeah.
it's like, do you think it's kind of like a part of the job that this kind of happens? Like,
I
do
think
you
it
think do we see this? Do you think this happens more than we really know? That a lead is like,
I think it
or a
does.
contestant is like,
I
why
think
is this? Yeah. Hmm.
I think it does happen with leads where they know who they're going to pick when they're down to 3 or 4. Or sometimes they kind of really know in the beginning. And I think it is part of the job. So I don't really blame Rachel as much as everyone else is. However, I
Yeah.
do feel for Zach because that's not part of his job. Like his job is to be honest and
Right.
authentic. And it's he. I feel like he did put his all into Rachel. And I think he probably realized in the fantasy suites that it just wasn't reciprocated as much as he thought it was throughout the season. So I think he's heartbroken. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe she was being a little inauthentic, but if it's her job,
Hmm.
she's getting paid to be here. Like this is literally her job. Like I know she's finding
Yeah.
love, but it is like she still has to kind of do what she has to do. I feel like I could be a little heartless if I was the lead. So I understand Rachel's perspective, but I also know I'm like
Hmm.
such a hopeless romantic that if I was Zach, I would be devastated at Rachel and point all the blame on her
Yeah.
too. So I really see both sides here, and I can't really pick a
Right.
side. My only thing is that it might not go over well next week because if Zach is calling
Yeah.
her out on her name, that does feel a little like you're ready to square up.
Oh, did he call her out of her name?
Yeah, he was just like, she's inauthentic. Like, that is calling someone out on
Oh,
their
I
name. Like,
see.
didn't he call her
Oh, I thought you
fake?
meant like he
Also,
called her a, you know.
what do you think of AJ's comment?
Yes. AJ, I don't know. I think if she were to tell him she's in love with the other two, or well, mainly, I'm in love with Tino and how I feel about Avon. I don't think she would do that. I think if she did, it would be way more of like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go leave. But I
Yeah, he
think,
would just leave in the
it's
middle of the night.
clearly he would just leave in the middle of the night. I think it was clearly nuanced. But you know what though, I will say that just to push back a little bit, yes, it is a job, right? Like you're the Bachelorette, you got to make the TV show. I've heard other leads kind of allude to that, right? But I
Hmm.
feel like you could still do it a little bit more tactfully and a little bit more authentically, just kind of being like, yo, I don't know if I can fully get there with you, because that's what she said to Gabby at the top of the week. And I think she totally could have said that to him and it be like, that's real, that's authentic. And not kind of giving him this like patronizing, like, not real
Like the age
issue.
thing.
I think that's what, yeah, I think that's also what hurt him, is like, you're not even gonna be real with me. Like, so I do feel like Rachel
That's
sometimes falls
frustrating.
into this. It's frustrating. And I think sometimes Rachel falls into this bachelorette role a little too much, where it's like, yes, you are the bachelorette. And yes, we need a rose ceremony, but also this is a real person, and you don't have to like put on the bachelorette hat and like give the speech or give, like, you know what I'm trying to say? I just feel like sometimes I get that from Rachel a lot. I've gotten that from her like throughout the season. So I think Zach isn't off. I think she wasn't being authentic with him, and That's unfortunate when it's your
Yeah.
final three. You should be genuine.
For sure. No, I agree with that. I mean, for sure. And I mean, we get to the rose ceremony, and Zach is immediately ready to pull Rachel to the side. You know, he kind of expressed his feelings to Jesse Palmer. We got to see Avon getting ready, Tino getting ready. And I love a good dramatic rose ceremony. It gets so intense at the final three. So I think it's going to be so fun. But of course, it ends on a cliffhanger. And I think
Yeah.
what we kind of saw from like the side of like the view from like Avon's perspective and Tino's is that like Zach was maybe reprimanding her. Maybe he was like, I don't know, like maybe he was really talking to her like how he felt. And I think she's gonna get really upset because you know, Rachel loves a good meltdown. I mean, that's what she's most famous for. So I don't know if she's gonna like take it out on Tino and Avon, but I definitely think Zach is leaving, don't you?
I think it's possible. Yeah. I mean, I don't see how this conversation is going to go well. And he was probably going to leave anyway. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's fine. You know, he probably wasn't going to get that rose either way. So, but I don't know. I don't think Zach will go like off the rails. I think Rachel will just be upset, period, that she's being questioned. Like her quote integrity is being questioned. I think that's in and of itself enough for her to be
Yeah.
offended. But it'll be interesting to see. Also, I have to point out the producers were on their job. They were like, now look, Zach, we know you want to have this conversation, but you don't say nothing until she almost touches the rose. Then you say something because he didn't, it was like so perfectly orchestrated. Did you notice that? I was dying.
Well, it was really funny. It because she was
Yeah.
like ready to. But like, what do you think she was gonna do? That's what I want to know. Do you think she was gonna send
Mm,
home Zach anyway? And maybe we won't know until next week. But I think it was
yeah.
definitely between Zach and Avon. I mean, Tina was gonna stay because she told him she loved him, and she didn't say that to anyone else. So I
Mm,
don't know. I think it might not even matter if Zach leaves. That might
mm,
not really mess up her process. It's just that way that he's gonna like come
yeah.
at her next week. I think that is gonna really set her off. But don't you think she was gonna
Hmm.
send home Zach anyway, or do you think she was gonna send home Avon?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm like, I think Zach was gone anyway. Like, I think, you know, just based off of how they were in the morning, like, and again, it almost gives me another point of defending Zach's side because I could tell in the morning she wasn't being as genuine with Zach or as like comfortable with Zach than she was with even Avon. And we didn't even get to see Tino's morning after. I don't even know
Yeah,
why,
that got
but
cut.
yeah, which is weird. Like he's such the front runner. But but yeah, I think that was very telling to me. Like, okay, Zach's probably out of here either way. So,
Yeah,
but yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I said, it's probably just a sticky part of Rachel's job where she wants to be the perfect bachelorette and she wants to put on the scenes that they need to do. Like, this is a television show. So, like, she's really struggling
Mhm.
balancing, like, that versus, like, being authentic and genuine in these relationships. So, I understand why it's hard for her because sometimes you can't do both. Like, you have to put on this rose
Yeah.
ceremony, you have to get it together. Like, whatever. So
Mhm.
the episode ends with Jesse Palmer in the studios of Warner Brothers late at night telling us that we have 2 more weeks of The Bachelor. It's going to be so dramatic. It's going to be a crazy ending. So basically, we have next week, which is next Tuesday. I guess there's sports now. And then the
Mhm.
Tuesday after, we have After the Final Rose Part 2. So I originally thought they were going to break it up with just Rachel's part one night and Gabby's the next night. But now, based on where the show is going, I don't know if they'll do like the
Yeah.
breakups next week. And then maybe the week after, they'll have like the winning couples if we even have two. How do you think they're going to format
Mhm.
two after the final roses?
Yeah, it'll be interesting, like, seeing how because that preview, I mean, we got on the phone, you called me, and I was like, "Yes, I am in fact spiraling as well, I'm with you." We were, like, freaking
Mm-hmm.
out over that preview because it does seem like there is an ending at the rose ceremony, the final rose ceremony, but then there seems to be some footage, like, in a backyard at someone's house or something that
Yeah.
happens after, and so I think there's a lot to unpack probably post the season, the filming of the season. And so, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot for them to play with in terms of, you know, the footage and showing it when and where. But yeah, I think that's honestly like that's honestly like I don't know, comforting or a good thing because like Gabby literally only has Eric, so it's like what else are you gonna show from
Yeah. Well,
Gabby's
now
end?
like
But
the
we also
question
still
is
have the
like,
families and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, they Eric has to meet her family, and then I guess the question is like, is he gonna propose? And then with Rachel, there's still three
Yes.
guys left. So let's start reviewing the clips. We're gonna get to
Oh
some more of
yes.
your opinions and questions after, but we do have 11 clips to go through. So we'll go through them pretty fast and breeze through the trailer, but we'll just give our 2 cents each
Okay.
time. So let's take a look at our
Okay.
first clip. Jesse is teasing the most dramatic finale ever. Only only ever of all
Only
time.
ever. Of all time. Every
It's
year
it,
it's of all time.
it okay, let's roll it.
All right.
So take some time, get yourselves ready, and prepare yourselves for the most shocking finale of all time.
Can you take him seriously? Because I can't. I really can't.
I literally was like, Jesse, give me a break. I was like, show me. Go ahead, play the clips so I can see for myself
Like
if it really is going to be
it
this dramatic.
it is going to be dramatic. Like there's no doubt about it, but like the fact that he's like saying it of all time, I don't know if I can believe that. I mean, Rachel is one of the bachelorettes who I think she probably is the most dramatic bachelorette though of all time. So, honestly, there might be some validity to this. Let's keep watching.
Potentially.
Trouble in Paradise.
This is actually crazy. I don't want to do this anymore.
Okay, so Rachel's having a meltdown. Because that's what she. No, I mean, like, I'm just kidding. I love Rachel and I love how sensitive she is, but I feel really bad for her though, because it actually looks like she's going to get broken up with, and I'm wondering if like everyone's gonna
Mm.
break up with her. What do you think she's crying about?
Oh my goodness. I was going to ask you, like, who do you think this is about? Because
Tino. I think it's about
yeah,
Tino.
you think it's about Tino? But like what like Tino has been fighting tooth and nail. Like I feel like avoiding everything at all costs for this to go well, you know?
I know. I guess I just think that because the other clips that we're gonna get to in the trailer, because I'm
Mm,
thinking that Zach is going to leave at this rose ceremony and be gone. Like, and I just don't
yeah.
think she's crying over Avon like that, because although they've always had the hots for each other, their connection just never has had enough depth where she would be like this hysterical over Avon. And we'll get to that part too,
Yeah.
but she's hysterical. I wonder, and this isn't the same dress as that rose ceremony that she was wearing a red dress. So
No,
I don't know
it's
when this is, but let's
completely
keep
different.
watching.
Okay.
Rachel's rose ceremony with the Zach. Let's play that clip.
I want to leave here. For people who say that they care about me to question my character, it's really disappointing.
Okay, what do you think of
Mm.
that?
Yeah, I mean, it's what I expected. Like, I think Zach probably said it so respectfully, but period. It wasn't gonna matter. Like, she was gonna be offended by this. But I wish Rachel, I don't know, I wish Rachel would kind of just be honest. Like, there's no, Zach, come on. Like, there's no way she wasn't being like kind of fake, you know? What do you
Well,
think?
like I said, she probably is like battling with doing her job as the Bachelorette, and like she can't. She's not. It's imagine dating three guys and like you're in love. Like it's probably so hard. Like I wouldn't be able to fake it either. I feel like at this point I know who I'm in love with, especially by overnights. But I think that Zach
Yeah.
leaves, and then she's telling Avon and Tino that she feels called out on by her name, and it really is all how Zach
Oh.
says it. Because I think Zach can get away with this and leave on a good note and maybe set himself up to be the
Mhm.
bachelor. But if he talks down to her and makes her feel like how she's feeling, he's gonna look like an ass, you know?
Yeah, he's gonna look pretty bad. But maybe she's just kind of explaining to them what happened, explaining to Tino and Avon what just happened. And then is just kind of covering her bases of like, hey, like anyone questioning my character, period, is just like not cool with me
Time
and
time to
whatever.
go.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep watching. Rachel is confronting someone.
Mhm.
Shattering everything that you promised me.
Next week,
Breathe, okay? Okay.
the most emotional and unpredictable season finale of all time.
Of all time. So that scene, we're gonna get to it with the Rachel. It looks like there is a scene that happens after the show, and that seems what there's like a lot of buzz about online. So we're gonna get to that because we're gonna see more of that. But I want to know, who are you most excited to see back? Because we're gonna see some family members, some of the OGs, Big Tony, Grandpa John, Rachel's gay BFF, Rachel's mom, Gabby's, I guess her aunt, and maybe her
Her
dad. Who are
aunt.
you most excited to see?
I mean, I love Grandpa John, but I think I'm really excited to see Big Tony because, as you guys know, or some of you might know, I was at the taping of the finale, like the last finale of Clayton's season, the last night. And I was sitting me and my friend were sitting right next to Big Tony, and you could feel like, I could hear all of his comments, he was fuming. So he's like, my daughter is in this process again. Like, he's going to be, he's going to be bringing it.
Oh,
So
I
I'm
can't
curious to see
wait.
that. Yeah. What
Oh my
about
God, that's
you?
gonna be so fun. I'm
Yeah.
excited for Rachel's gay BFF, Pilot
Mm,
Nathaniel, I think his name is. Because I know
yes.
he's gonna he's gonna bring the tea.
Yeah.
But I
Hmm.
love Gabby's grandpa and I love Big Tony.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I love their families. I think that's one of the
Me
reasons everyone
too.
fell in love with them on Clayton season. So let's keep
Hmm.
watching this trailer. We're gonna see a ring. So it looks like we will be getting at least one proposal.
Oh, okay.
No way this works out. Please just get me out of this. Let me out.
We are literally about to engage tomorrow to our dream guys. Literally.
Literally dream, guys. Okay, quick thoughts. Whose fingers are those?
Jeez. Okay, at first I thought Tino, but then I thought Eric.
I'm
I
thinking
don't
Eric because they're
know.
such long fingers and Eric is so tall.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And I feel like Tino's
Okay,
hands
let's.
are like he does construction, so maybe
Yeah,
more.
they're a little bit more
Yeah.
ruggedy. But those are like
Mm.
perfect nails. Like it almost looks like
Yeah.
he's wearing nail polish.
Literally, his
Do
nail
I have
beds,
nails like
like his
that?
cuticles are immaculate. Like,
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's roll the next one. The guys are gonna meet the family.
Will Gabby and Rachel both find the love they so deserve?
I'm like really thankful that it's just us.
You think he's ready to get down on the knee?
See, Rachel's mom is entertaining AF as well. Do you think
she is.
Gabby's family is going to like Eric?
I think they will. I think they will. I mean, we saw that clip of Gabby kind of getting emotional earlier with her aunt, but it could be something else. It could just be like her expressing how the season went. Like Gabby has said, like she's still processing the two breakups she just had this past week. So
Mm-hmm.
could be that. I think that Eric is so easygoing. I can't see them not liking him. He already met Grandpa John, so Grandpa John's like, yeah, he's cool. So I
True.
think that'll be a good buffer for
Yeah.
everyone else. But Gabby's dad, I'm really curious to
Yeah.
see what he thinks because like we haven't really got to really see how her dad is, like his whole perspective, and I think they're really close. So I'm curious to see that, like how those conversations go with her dad. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, Hot Girl Happy Hour says, my construction worker husband said if it's Tino's just a contractor that his hands could be well manicured, LOL. Kayla, why are you
Oh,
hating on these contractors? Like, you're
I'm
affecting our
not.
audience. They're so mad. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, that's a good point. This is good. This
Yeah,
is
it's
good
true.
to know. Hot
That is
Girl
good to
Happy Hour.
know. Yeah.
We'll take you out to happy hour for that one. Okay, let's watch our next clip because we've got a major problem and there's gonna be more drama. Let's take a look.
I want the best for her.
If you think you know what happens,
We have a problem.
guess again.
He was unsure there would be an engagement.
Oh my
Did
God.
he say
Okay, so this
she
is
or he?
he was unsure there was gonna be an engagement. Do you think he's talking about Avon
Hmm.
or Tino?
Maybe it's
Or maybe it's
Avon.
like
I think
out of context. because they talked
I
about
don't know.
engagements.
My
Like,
gosh.
Rachel already talked about engagements. She like asked Avon specifically, "Are you going to be ready for engagement?" Like she talked about it with Tino as well. So maybe this is out of
Yeah.
context and it's just something else. But this is like the dream team. Like I need the Rachel's family to have their own reality show because these people are so fascinating to me.
No, they actually would be really interesting. They have very different personalities going on. Even just like her two parents, like they're very
Hmm.
different.
I
And
love her. I
then
love
like
her parents.
yes, her parents are awesome and they're so real and genuine. But then also like her best friend is absolutely giving the tea. Like you are 100% right. I
Uh-huh.
can't wait to see. Was it Nathaniel? Yeah,
Mm-hmm. They're
yeah, that's gonna
pilot
be interesting.
friends.
But
Okay, let's.
yeah, we'll have to
What do you
see
want to say?
who he's talking about. I said we'll have to see who he's talking about. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, let's check out our next clip. We're gonna find out what happens with Avon. I mean, he's always glazed over, but he
Mm.
might get broken up with. So let's take a look.
You should definitely kick him in the. You don't deserve this.
You changed your story so many times. I'm done.
I know that there's still somebody involved in this.
Why are you yelling at me?
Okay, there was a lot going on there, but let's talk about Avon for a second. We haven't talked about him during the live. He hasn't. This is like a new side of Avon that we haven't seen before. He's getting a little amped up. He's like, I know someone else is still involved. And Avon has been like so respectful and kind all season. And I think it probably just ate away at him. But do you think this is a breakup
Mm.
scene? Because I think she's going to break up with him right now. I think that's why he's getting so upset.
I think that's exactly what's happening. And I think even the line of like, I know there's someone else involved is like maybe she's not being clear that like, hey, actually I have more affection towards this person and she's just kind of trying to like isolate it. And he's like, maybe just be real with me. Like I know there's someone else too, you know? I don't know. It could be that. But I know Zach,
At
you're
least he's
gonna
giving
revel in this
something
moment.
more than
I know.
Jason. Oh, yeah. I'm excited
You're
to
gonna
see
be
them
so
break up.
excited.
I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that, but it looks like Rachel's going through it. You can see it in her eyes. Like she's
Hmm.
exhausted. I hope that she's able to give Avon the closure he needs because it sounds like he's really blindsided and he's upset.
Yeah.
But at least he's like fighting for her because Jason A didn't, Johnny didn't. So at least
Mm.
he cares and he truly did care for
Yeah.
her. So we'll see what happens. You guys know I'm an Avon stan. So if he needs a shoulder to cry on, I'm there for him. I got him. Let's keep watching. We're gonna see another tease of Rachel and Zach's rose ceremony talk.
You told me things and then you went back against what you said. I want this to work. I've given him nothing but the best.
Wow. That's the line that's been teased from the beginning. You told me
Yeah.
things and then you went back on what you said. Kayla, we need to put it on a t-shirt. And I don't think she's talking to Zach. I think this is editing. I think she's talking to Tino.
Absolutely. I think okay, so my preview brain is actually clicking now. So number one, I
Okay.
totally agree. I think that's not Zach. That clip looked just like their fantasy suite date that they just try to like toss in there and
Uh-huh.
fakes out. And I actually remember this preview, like this clip being shown in a previous preview, and I saw a little corner of someone's like hair, and it just doesn't look like Tino. I think it might be Avon, but then it's like she might be
So you
breaking
think
up with
she's
Avon.
yelling
I
at
don't know.
Avon?
Again, maybe I don't know. I don't really know, but I feel like the clips we saw before where Tino's freaking out in a backyard. There's obviously another conversation or another situation that we're assuming is maybe post the filming of Mexico and the final
Yeah.
rose
But
that
this
is with
looks like it's
Tino.
in
So I
Mexico.
don't no, this is for sure in Mexico. I agree. So it's
Maybe on
just
their like last date.
I think so, but then
She's
it's like why are they at
crying.
the rose ceremony? I don't know. I'm so confused, Zach.
Okay, let's watch. We have two more clips. Does Eric get cold
Okay.
feet? Let's take a look.
Mm.
If getting engaged before that happens is not how things usually go.
Like, I'm so sick of this. What am I supposed to do? Walk away because he's not ready to propose?
It seems like Eric really wants to be with Gabby, but he just
Mhm.
doesn't want to propose on the show's terms and like in a rush.
Mhm.
But Gabby wants a
Mhm.
commitment, and she's like, "You told me this is what it's supposed to be all along." So what do you do if you're
Mhm.
Gabby?
I mean, that's a good question. Even the little line she's saying to the producer of like, "What am I supposed to do? Walk away because he doesn't want to propose?" is like maybe even the producers are pushing for an engagement because I remember during hometowns, Gabby's question to the parents was always, do you think that so and so would be ready for a commitment after this, whatever that looks like, not an engagement. Whereas Rachel was always saying an engagement. You know what I mean? So I'm starting to feel like
Mm-hmm.
Gabby's probably just gonna, I don't know. I think she might end up coming around to it being okay. But I don't know. My question for you is like, in your opinion, do you think that the pressure of an engagement at the end is like a curse because we see that a lot of times couples who don't get engaged at the end of the show end up lasting longer than the couples that do. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of hit or miss. I don't think that you should propose if you have any second doubt, if you have any doubts. And I think a lot of people
Mm,
on this show find themselves proposing just because it's a free ring, it's the camera crew, it's the producers, it's like the point of the show. So they propose not taking it seriously, and then that's when they break up. But I do think that couples that are
mm,
really confident going into the proposal, like that's genuine, and that's when it really lasts, like Sean and Catherine and Rachel and Brian.
yeah.
But if
Hmm.
you are not ready, I think that it's better to just not propose because then you break
Right.
up and it's you feel bad about it and then you ruin your proposal and you're like, now I got to do this all over again and so I don't think he
Hmm.
should propose if he feels pressured. What is
Yeah.
Haley J saying?
Hey, Haley. So she says, I bet Rachel's BFF was talking about Avon, saying he wasn't sure about a proposal. And when she asked him why he'd say that, he's saying there's still someone else is the reason he can't be sure. Ooh, Haley.
Ooh,
She just strung it together for us. Friend.
that makes sense.
That makes so much sense. Yes. What do you think about that, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, I can totally see that because he did say, "I know that there's someone else." Like that was we're not getting much of Avon. We've never got much of him, but like even in this trailer, we only get 2 seconds. I think that could make sense for his story. Um,
Hmm.
Maybe he told Pilot Nathaniel that. Oh, I can't wait to see. I cannot wait
I
to see it.
know.
Okay, this last
Yeah.
clip
Yeah.
is the craziest one of them all, and then we'll take a few more of your questions and comments before we go. So let's take a look at what could possibly be filmed post show.
You're lying straight to my face. I want an answer for why you did what you did.
The shocking live finale of the
Bachelorette starts next week. So I think you can see them that they're going to the final rose ceremony. So my prediction is that Eric proposes and that Tino proposes and they both say yes. I think Eric and
Hmm.
Gabby are still together. I think that Rachel and Tino have broken up because this is clearly like a couple months later. Like you can even tell by Rachel's
Yeah.
hair, her glow. like this is filmed back in California, back wherever. It really
Hmm.
feels like she's angry, she's upset,
Hmm.
she's feeling like he didn't stay true to his word or his promise. Like she's got to be yelling at Tino here.
Yeah. I think I agree with that. I think they both, get to the end with Eric and Tino, and I think something absolutely goes down. I mean, I can tell by how her makeup is done that it's not done by the stylist. Like she did it in a good
Mm-hmm.
way because I like how Rachel and Gabby do their own
Yeah,
makeup.
yeah.
That's another story. But yeah, I'm trying to remember what like Tino's house looked like because we can
No, but
see
I
a little
think
bit of
this
like the
this could be like
shutters, the house.
this this could be one of the safe houses, and a lot of people were saying that online because they have like these secret houses that they go to after the
Right,
show, like the happy couple weekends, because they're not
right.
allowed to go out in
Yep.
public. So it could possibly be
Mhm.
filmed at one of those. And this just makes me so
That's
sad
true.
because Rachel really put her all into this relationship, into the show, into every relationship. Like
Mhm.
she wore her heart on her sleeve. She cried and cried. She went through so much with Clayton. I personally think that she wasn't even ready to be the Bachelorette at the time, and I think maybe that's catching up
Mm-hmm.
with her. Like, I think that she was so invested in Clayton, and she just needed more time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's gonna make me really sad to see her single, and it makes me even more sad if Gabby's happy and thriving, and then
I
she's just
know.
like so alone, and then Gabby goes on Dancing with the Stars, and Gabby becomes this mega celebrity, and Rachel is just like
I
left eating
know.
dust. Tea and Roses, they are a friend of mine, so hey, what are they saying? What do you
Oh,
think happens?
hey, friend. Okay, so yeah, no, this is good. She says, or they say, what did Tino do? It's not like he could cheat on her. And that was where my brain was going as well. I totally agree. And that's what I was gonna ask you, Zach, is like what do you think it was? Because even with what you just said, I mean, like, it's still, this is clearly something that Tino, she's like, I need to know why you did what you did, which is not really something you say. I don't think there's
Well,
really
I
something
think
you say if
he's
someone
she's
cheats on
talking
you.
about maybe she's talking about the proposal. Like, why did you get on down on one knee if you were gonna take it back? Like, it's possible that they just like maybe he just like didn't call her as much and like the relationship faded
Mm-hmm.
out. It is possible
Mm-hmm.
that maybe he, got back with an ex or there was another girl involved, but it sounds like he did something to piss her off and break up with her. And we're not even sure that this is Tino. It's just like it can't be
It's
Avon
true.
because he just didn't
It's
get a
not
storyline
Avon.
this season. Like he didn't get a
No, for
storyline.
sure.
Like they didn't want us to invest ourselves too much in Avon. Like he didn't get anything.
Yeah.
Like this has to be about Tino. What is she yelling at Jesse Palmer or Gabby?
No, yeah, absolutely. Okay, I have a theory. And again, preview,
Spill.
the previews are always rolling around in my head. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember there being a preview where Gabby, there's a voiceover of Gabby saying, kind of in just more of a calm voice, but she was saying, he took advantage of everything or something. And I
Yeah,
wasn't sure
yeah.
if she was
It
talking, we don't know if she was talking about one of her guys, or maybe this is a conversation where we clearly see her and Rachel meet back up outside of filming the show and they talk
mm-hmm.
about this as well. So maybe Tino, because we also know, I don't know if everyone knows, but I'm aware that Tino is a fan of the show. He's watched the show before. And so maybe it's a thing where Tino kind of went on initially to like maybe, I don't know, promote
Be the
something or like
Bachelor.
build a little business
Be the
to be the
Bachelor.
bachelor. Yes, something. And then it's like, oh, well, I ended up falling in love with you and X, Y, and Z. But it's like, yeah, but, maybe it's that.
It's gonna be so dramatic though. I love when they film scenes after the show. Like
It's
because we
always
saw it with like the
so
Ari and
juicy.
Becca breakup, Pilot Pete. Like it's it is kind of fun when the story really does continue on after filming. But like I said, my
Mm-hmm.
heart is gonna break for Rachel if she leaves with nothing and Gabby leaves with everything. WK says it's definitely is not a tease. It is something to be taken very seriously. Oh,
Mm.
100%. If Tino effed her over, she's clearly heartbroken and upset. It's gonna be, talked about and it's gonna be really broken down on after the final rose.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jesse set it up like it was something, almost like a sensitive situation and controversial. So, I don't even know if my theory sticks anymore because it could be something really
List the theories
serious.
be changing, Kayla. Like I had a theory
Every
that I thought that
week.
Jason A was gonna be the cliffhanger because I was like, how is Gabby gonna have one guy going into the next 2 weeks? But then Jason
That's
A,
right.
like these, we have so many theories and they just keep on changing. Crystal says, Rachel said, I know how Zach feels. I never have to wonder with him. Then I go to Fantasy Suite and said, are you sure you are ready? Oh, please. She was picking Tino and setting him up. Yeah, I think that's kind of what you were talking about earlier, that maybe she was looking for an excuse to like let Zach down easy or give him like the heads up. And
Mhm.
I don't know if Rachel will own up to that,
Yeah.
or maybe she just like, that wasn't, her truth.
Yeah. No, it's true. And Crystal, thank you so much for watching. She's one of my little buddies from YouTube.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. So I don't know how to read this next one. Debut.
Try it.
878 debut 8701 says Tino distances himself because of family. It's a breakup like Ari and Becca, Peter and Hannah Ann. So yeah, I think they're bringing up a family issue again, which would definitely
Oh,
be
so
weird.
that could be it. Because remember, Rachel said, like, specifically to Tino, if we call up your family and we're engaged, are they going to be happy? And he assured her that they're going to be
Yeah.
happy and that they're going to come around. Maybe they don't come around.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, this has kind of been teased all season, the last few weeks after his
Mm-hmm.
hometown. Like, his family isn't supportive. This could be a huge part of their breakup.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
that sucks.
What do you what
That
do you make of yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna think like Tino's dad has been saying stuff on Facebook that we've kind of talked about. So I'm like, this
Mm-hmm.
makes sense because remember a few weeks ago, I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
if Tino's dad is really saying this and him and Rachel are together, he should only be supporting them. This makes
Yeah.
so much sense. I was on to something.
You were onto something. I think that we're looking at potentially a post season, post filming breakup. But I'm curious though what your thoughts were on Tino because he has a breakdown as well and like this kind of situation
Yeah.
outside of filming where he's like, get me out of this, like crying, like I just want to get out of
Because they
here or
don't let
whatever.
them
Like,
leave. Kayla, they don't let them leave. Like, they keep them in this house. They're like, break up. Talk about it again. Break up. We need the shot. We need the
oh
scene.
my
We need you to
goodness.
break down and cry. Like, their breakup probably could have been
Mm,
like 30 minutes, but because it's a show, they probably want it to be like 4 hours just so they can really emotionally exhaust them to get the most dramatic scene possible. Like, no one cries like
yeah.
that all the time. Like, that's not normal. So, we
Yeah.
do have to give Rachel some leeway. It's like she is being antagonized. Everyone who goes on a reality show is provoked and antagonized by producers
Mhm.
who are trying to get the most eccentric reactions, the most dramatic reactions. And it's gonna be a
Mhm.
dramatic ending. Zach for Bachelor. Yeah, I mean, before we head out of here, who do you think is? I mean, the Bachelor will be
I
announced, and
know.
after the final rose.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's
Yes.
gonna be next week or the week after. We have two of them, or do you think they're talking
Mhm.
about me or the other Zach? Like, should I be the Bachelor?
Oh, I think that would be cute. That'd be a really cute season. I'd
Right?
watch.
It was the best season.
Yeah, best season. Do you think there's gonna be two?
No, I think we've kind of touched on that. Like the producers saying that it was so exhausting. It was hard to follow two love
Okay.
stories. But if there is two, I'm here for
Yeah.
it. I can't wait to find
Yeah.
out who. Like we're so close.
Me too. I know. I can't wait. I just want it to be the what is it, 20th already? Yeah.
Yeah, we just got a couple more weeks and we will be here talking all about the ending of The Bachelorette. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to turn on notifications so you're always updated when we go live and post other videos. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Zachary Reality with...
Kayla Thompson, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.